Sim Racing Stewards is the video series where I look at your sim racing incidents and pretend like I could do better. Brackets. I cannot. And let's jump straight in with this first clip. Fair pass or reckless. So we are recording the monitor. Into the pits we go. And oh, the double overtake. But I don't know what track this is, but we're going into the pit lane entrance right now. Looks like it might be Mugello. And in that, we overtake 2 cars on the way into the pit lane. Still slowing down in time to hit that pit lane speed limiter. Very important, or you'll get a penalty for that. And whilst this move is definitely aggressive, it is completely fair because it is part of the racing surface. Our guy on AMG stays within the racing line, doesn't make contact with the other cars who are very slow on the way into the pit lane, and makes the move stick. For me, that is completely fair and a very advantageous piece of racing. I can't believe it. We're starting off one of these with a he did nothing wrong. Could this finally be the episode where we see some good racing?
No.
Now we head to the lovely world of Gran Turismo 7. Whose line is it anyway? No. Whose line is it? A T1? Red or blue? We are a long way back. This is T1 right here. As it stands at the moment, we're on the brakes fully, as you can see from this telemetry. But somehow, we managed to get alongside. I guess there was a mistake there. They both outbraked themselves into T1. Now, at this point, if this guy in the number 63 here has his radar up, he'll also see that there is a car on the inside. We're entitled to this space. However, guy on the inside comes across like he isn't there and then forces us onto the curb on the inside and slowing us down. This clip keeps on going. We're getting the full lap. Is he going to get him? He's going to get him. Right on the line. Good job, Reezy. Yeah, let's just look back at it again. Guarantee one, this guy absolutely just ruins the corner. Like, where is he going? Where is this? We're on the inside. There's a little bit of lag there. Maybe owing to the fact that this guy's in South Africa and this guy's in the UK somewhere. Big distance there. So generally, the further away you are from the guy you're playing with online, the worse the connection is going to be. That sounds like a simple thing, but some people don't know that. And yeah, for me, this is significantly alongside, and this guy kept driving like we weren't there. So that sort of move would probably end up being like a warning in real life, just to give the other guy a bit of space. But to be honest, it didn't matter at the end because we got a massive draft at the end of the lap and managed to take the win anyway as a camera car. So for me, that would be probably a warning. We were significantly alongside, and by that I mean this is the point where we're pushed into the grass, you can see. We're almost side by side here, and at this point, acknowledge that he's on the circuit too. You can't just drive like he's not there, because 1, that causes accidents, and 2, it's not very sportsmanlike either. So just a little slap on the wrist, I think. That's not been an egregious move yet. I'm getting worried. What am I going to do about the content? The main professional asks, was this reckless from the McLaren or turn in from the BMW? So this is Indianapolis. We're in GT4 cars.
Try me, bitch.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So they're asking here if they thought the BMW turned in. Now look at this, right? The racing line being on here actually helps our point a bit because it shows you the expected line for the corner and what cars are doing at that point. So this guy has already started turning into the corner at this point. You're not even alongside at this point. He's not had the car on your right. He gets the car on your right here as he's committed to the corner. This lunge is going to put you probably out here somewhere. It's a fat old lunge, and the only reason you've got alongside him is because you've just gone into the corner far too quick. This door is always going to close at this part of the circuit. If you were just trying to get ahead of one car, I think you'd be alright there, but you brake so late whilst trying to turn the car, so the braking capability is worse as well. What's this guy meant to do? It's not up to the guy in front of you to jump out of the way if someone spears in behind you. So for me, this is 100% on this 570 McLaren here. It's come from so far back, and I appreciate what he's trying to do, but it's just that is going to be. I mean, you took 3 cars out, including yourself there. So yeah, McLaren, fat old guilty.
Hey, do you have to call me fat?
This is from a now deleted account, so you know it's going to be good. I am in the black car and admittedly 3 laps down. Oh dear. White said I cut across his nose and ruined his race. I'm new to the LMS, but I don't really see what I did here. Our car comes through the corner. We're 3 laps down, but there's no obligation for us to get out of the way in oval racing. To be honest, our line isn't great, and the guy behind us thinks we're going to take a better line. Then the guy behind him does the same thing as number 4 did and just runs into the back of him and spins him. So, to be honest, this has like just big old dingus stamped all over it. To be fair to this car behind us, the camera car, if you look at the car at the back of the pack, that line the car at the back of the pack is taking is the line that I think they were expecting you to run. Because you were having, you can see this tyre mark there, so I think you're having some sort of slide around the corner. Until you got up here, I mean, you've got so much space to the wall up here, and I think I don't know, actually, you know what? Even if you were up at that point in the circuit, this guy is still going to run up and hit you. So I just think this is the fault of the guy behind. He creates his own incident and then gets shunted by the car behind, then tries to blame you for it. For me, skill issue for the number 4. Admittedly, though, whilst I'm a bit of an all-rounder when it comes to sim racing, Oval was probably one of my weakest points. And speaking of weak points, if you're looking to upgrade your sim racing equipment to go to the next level in your sim racing career, why not consider John Abruzzi? Down below in the description. Abruzzi stock all kinds of sim racing gear, being it from entry level all the way up to crazy motion rigs. We've also started offering turnkey rig solutions, so if you're pretty terrible at DIY like a certain somebody on camera right now, and don't worry, we've got your back.
I got your back.
All the info on Abruzzi down below in the description. Next crash. Wooden newspaper says, is this penalty fair, or should that Sauber deserve a penalty?
Mate, I'm helping Brodo.
That's cold.
Engineer.
I like doing that, that's quite fun. Give me a minute.
I'll tell you when he's going.
We are stopping.
Yeah, he's stopped.
Mate.
So what a weird one. Basically what happened there is the car in front of the Sauber checked up so much, I mean to the point where we were doing only 25 kph as the camera car, that the game, in its infinite wisdom, thought that the small tap that we gave as the camera car to the car in front was a severe collision and awarded us a 10-second time penalty, where after a safety car, that's going to drop us from second, probably down right to the back of the grid. But should this guy get a penalty for that? In real life, I'm fairly sure the regulation is you can't drop a certain amount of car lengths behind the safety car. However, when you get to a certain point, the safety car sort of comes in and it's down to the leader to set the pace of the field. There is an argument there that the leader was going unnecessarily slowly, to the point of potentially causing some sort of accident, which in real life would be looked at and would probably be some sort of penalty. However, as much as us sim racing degens wish this in real life, it isn't. And therefore the rules are applied and set by the game. And the game allows this to happen. If I was a steward, I would penalise this. And I know what you're thinking, like, it's not very sportsmanlike to do that, but I guarantee you, if there is any slight advantage out there, then people at this level of driving will always try and find that advantage, and they'll exploit it if it's there to use it. Do you guys remember that crazy iRacing grass exploit a couple of years ago, where drivers would just dip their tyre into the grass to cool it down before continuing the lap? If you didn't do that, it would cost you up to 0.2 of a second a lap, which doesn't sound like much, but when everyone is lapping within a couple of hundredths, that's night and day. It's massive. And it took iRacing doing something about it to stop people from doing it. That's what Codemasters need to do in situations like this. But do I think he's guilty? I honestly don't know. If I was a steward or an admin of like a racing league like this, I would say you can't do this again. That was it. This is the line. You've driven past it. There wasn't a rule there before. There is now because of you. That's it. So is this guy guilty or not? He's guilty of perhaps using an exploit, but if that exploit is usable and there's no ramifications for doing it, then are you really guilty? Hopefully now to a more simple incident. Guy in green said I was at fault for hitting me. What do you think? Dan was T1. Don't see any green guys yet.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh, there he is. Oh dear. So guy in the green comes from a different postcode, completely misses the corner and also almost wipes us out in the process. He's then actually at this point off the track. My favourite things, guys, it's time to resafe jointly. You'll love to see it. He's completely off track outside the white line, meaning that he has to make sure he rejoins the circuit in a safe manner. Now, rejoining the circuit in a safe manner isn't driving into the back of the guy who's currently on the circuit and has not gone outside track limits. So this guy in the green is not only an F4 bandit for launching out the inside and nearly collecting 2 cars, he's also a bit of a helmet for not understanding how to come back onto the track. So finally, a nice clean cut incident. Green car, you are guilty. Get in the bin. Get in the bin, mate.
If I want to have a swim in my own bin on the hottest day that we've ever had in England, then I'm entitled to do so.
This was for the win. Whose fault is this? Now, first things first, that bit there that says this was for the win doesn't matter. The incident is completely separate from that. Being it for the win or being it for last place, you don't get to be more or less aggressive because you're challenging for position. You'll still be treated the same by the stewards. Unless, of course, it's the end of Abu Dhabi 2021. Then you can just do whatever you want. So the current leader is hugging the inside. He's taken the inside. He's still there on the inside. And I think it's anticipating the fact the corner... I mean, the circuit does open up a bit here, so he's got to come up and take the corner. My first thought is thinking that this guy in the blue doesn't need to squeeze this guy so much. I mean, look at the overspeed. Like, he's winning this race as long as he just goes straight here. But for some reason that I can't fathom, he just sort of really hugs this guy to the inside. And I know you're maybe trying to take the shortest route to the line, but look at this overspeed. The line's up here. He's won. The guy in the blue car, it's the last lap. I understand. The run to the line. You're trying to squeeze this guy to the inside to give him limited options, so he has to back out the throttle. But you can't be making people do that in what is basically a straight. You can't force someone to react by moving your car in a unsafe way. What maybe he didn't understand is because there is a corner on this straight here, and this car, this little Formula Ford, can't stay that tight on that corner. It's always going to drift out a little bit. So with your overspeed, why not just give the room to the car on the inside to move out and then just continue to win the race? You know what I mean? I would give a warning to the blue driver and just say you need to be more aware of how the other car is going to have to move if you put them into situations like that. Being aware of your surroundings and perceiving other cars is a massive part of racing. It's super important, especially when you're racing wheel to wheel like this. And to expect other cars to, I guess, back out of the throttle in a straight is kind of foolish at the best of times. So I think maybe just think a little bit more before you squeeze someone so tight to the edge of the circuit like that. I see Pomegranate says this is a controversial wreck, but who's at fault? Let's storm the lights. It's a tough one, this, because we lose the place going into the first part of the complex, and then because we've got a bit of a wider line here, we gas up to get back alongside again. We are there alongside. We're side by side at this point, and we're hugging the inside curb. This guy, taking his line, comes across and taps us, and then causes that second collision. So I don't know. On the basis that the camera car is on the curb and is pretty much staying there when hit, we can't go any further left here. We're entitled to this room. We're entitled to it. We're there. We're alongside. And the guy on the inside maybe doesn't just realise that we've come back at them, comes back across and causes the contact. But stuff like that is always so hard to call because you know it's not vindictive, you know it's not malicious, and you know really it's not even down to not being aware of your surroundings to that point because it's happened so quickly and then suddenly, oh god, he's there and he's round. I do think the car on the outside could have given more room. He did kind of drive as if the car on the inside wasn't there, so if it was to go anyway, I would blame the car on the outside. But I think, to be honest, it would go down as just yet another racing incident. It's really interesting to me because the posts on the Sim Racing Stewards subreddit that have the most interaction are usually the ones that end up as racing incidents because everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. And I think this is a racing incident. Just a really bloody annoying one for this guy. What's this crash my fault? I'm the Ferrari. So here we are, ACC at Barcelona, a circuit I raced in real life recently. Very cool experience. Still on board with the Ferrari, waiting for this potential incident to happen. Oh, that didn't sound very good. McLaren there as well. I'm seeing blue flags being waved. Yeah, it's just a bit too late from the McLaren there, isn't it? Are the blue flags for us? I mean, they're being waved to us here, so it's hard to tell. We might be being blue flagged for the car behind here, which just means caution, faster car coming up. And by the way the McLaren closed here, I have to guess that might be the case that we're being lapped in this scenario. But this is too far back. We're already turning in the Ferrari here. We're committing to the corner. We're only now alongside, and look at the angle difference. Where's the Ferrari going to go here? The Ferrari can't just turn out of that corner. I will say though, where the Ferrari's turned in, it's such a late turn in from this Ferrari. You sort of start bringing the car over to the apex now. So I can actually understand why maybe there's a miscommunication there between the McLaren and the Ferrari, but for me, the Ferrari turns in a bit too late. But regardless, the move from the McLaren, very optimistic. And to be honest, this self-spin here, I think is his own fault. But there is definitely a lesson to be learned from the Ferrari as well. If you are being lapped, which seems by the blue flag here to be the case, and you open the door that wide into the hairpin, someone's going to go for a move. Because these guys are in a race, they're trying to get around the circuit quickly. If you're a lap down, maybe that race isn't quite as concerning to you. But if I saw this here, the body language of your car, because you hadn't even started turning in yet, is telling me you're giving me that space. And it's only very late in the corner do you decide to commit to it. So, but yeah, guilty to the McLaren. I mean, what's going to happen in this situation? You know, you just got to be a bit more patient. I know if you are lapping someone, it can be, you want to get by as quick as you can, get it done, get on with your race. But sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, you know. At least I think that's a quote. Who knows? But basically, patience isn't always going to kill you in racing.